In writing, there's one thing above all else that stops us dead in our tracks: the dreaded blank page. Or even worse, that little line cursor thing constantly blinking, taunting you to type on it, regardless of whether you feel inspired to type or not. The blank page is the same as a blank canvas. It's the problem of not knowing what to create, or having too many options, or not being confident enough in your idea. But at the root cause of it all, it's the problem of having too few constraints. And that might sound weird, the idea that not being constrained is a bad thing. But when it comes to creativity, sometimes, oftentimes, for me, most of the time, that's a terrible thing. Counterintuitive, I know. And while every artist prays for freedom and its many incarnations, having too much of it causes us problems. Nope, that sucked. Gah, that was a terrible idea. Man, I can't think of what to say. Will they like this, or this, or this? What am I trying to say here? I don't even know. How do I shape this thing into something that someone will enjoy? What the hell do I even write about in the first place? Having an infinite amount of options creates space between you having an idea and you executing on it. And in this space lies doubt, indecision, fear, laziness, procrastination. And the more space that you have, the more likely you are to self-sabotage the starting line of creating your next thing. Decision paralysis. This occurs in all forms of art and all forms of creative endeavors, and in as many different ways as the options that you have before you start something. It's perhaps one of the biggest resistances you have as a creative person, as Steven Pressfield in his book The War of Art refers to it as. This is something that took me a long time to figure out for myself. I'm the kind of guy who loves lots of choices and options and prefers to survey the entire environment before making a decision. I'm a real min-maxer in both life and in RPG games, and I'm always looking for the optimal decision. So this insight wasn't something that I was born with. I had to learn it. The key to creative productivity oddly lies in something completely opposite to having the freedom of choice. It lies in creative constraints. Creative constraints are going to give you some guide rails for your next creation, providing yourself with a prompt, a tip, a strategy, a tactic, a something that you can use to work from. Because when the world is at your fingertips, there are just way too many different options, and deciding what to do next takes too long. But if you've got a clue, a goal, a direction, then getting started is easy. Draw me a painting is hard. What kind of painting? In what style? With what color palette? On what surface? Of what? Including who? But draw me a painting of a green and brown pine tree with this set of colored pencils in this book is easy. Creative constraints are something that you can use in any medium of art. However, I've found them to be extremely useful when they're aligned with the goals of what you're trying to do with your art and/or your creative business. When you have goals you want to reach, you have direction. When you have a direction, you can give yourself prompts and guide rails to make sure that the things you are creating are actually moving you closer to those goals. If you want to be a master photographer, get out there and spend every single week mastering a brand new visual pattern. If you want to become a fantastic writer, figure out what you want your work to be known for and then write in pieces towards your main goal. If you want to become a world-class videographer, research the best ones in the world and break down their individual skills that they use to become the best, and spend your next creating session working on those skills progressively. The idea here is to figure out where you want to take your art. Break it down into little teeny pieces and then use those pieces as your creative constraints for the next time that you go and create your next piece of work. Not only will you find that you can get started almost immediately, but you'll find that after doing many of these in a row, something forms. Something larger than the sum of their parts, something magical. a body of work. And as artists, many of us think that just by doing the work, the results will come. And sure, broadly, that's kind of the goal. But deliberate, constant, timely practice beats fractured, infrequent, repetitive practice any day of the week. And freedom, ironically, in this case, is the enemy. And narrowing down your options provides you with focus. And focus is what gets you to your goals. So go make friends with Creative Constraints. They will be your next best friend. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, get out there and make something that matters. Peace.